Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, that is on Charles, because today is the 12th of September, 2023. So we have welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always drop us an email or get in touch with us, whichever you can. So yeah, guys, I can see there in the chat room people coming through. Gala, BTC First, good morning, Extra Lube, and Vizardo. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Yeah. Just a second. Let me just type in good morning into the chat room. Yep. There we go. There we go. Let's start off. Right, guys. Look, with the Vizardo BTC First. Look, I have BTC here in my list, so this is the whole list that I'm going to go through. But yeah. Actually, altcoins. I mean, I can check only like a few. Look, but the most of them do move in a similar fashion. So basically, you can actually, if you're looking in one, you can look at the other one. So unless there's some like really fundamental stuff that's coming out with one specific coin or something like that, if you have a coin in mind, message me there. I'll see if I can pick up. Look, I'm no guru on everything. I can look at the stuff, but like I said, if I don't know information behind certain altcoin, then it's a little bit difficult to examine. So you need to kind of be a little bit more into into the fundamentals for that specific coin. But look, I look at cryptos in general, so what's happening. But look, I'll get to that. I'll get to cryptos in a bit, but first let me just jump into Nikkei 225. So Nikkei 225, look, we had a fantastic move to the downside, away from this downside line. Last week I talked about this. We tested the 50-day EMA. We kind of started oscillating around it. Also, what I was saying, that if we do drop and stay below this 50-day EMA, this kind of increases the chances for a drift further south towards the 100-day EMA. Well, initially there was that case, but now it kind of drifted back up again. So in general, for me at this point, I'm just kind of observing the price action because, again, this is so very unclear. And if we do want to drop below the 50-day EMA, I mean, if we get that drop, not that I want to, but if I get that drop, then yes, I'll aim for the 100-day EMA at least, and then we'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push somewhere back about this 33,000 territory, 33,043, something like that maybe, and then potentially more buyers could join in. Just bear with me one moment. I have to fix something around here. Just bear with me one moment. So yes, okay. Now then. So yes, that's the situation with Nikkei. Look, we don't have much like a Japanese data or something. We got today. No, not today. What did we get today? Today we didn't get much, and we only have the 5-year JGB auction. But that's, let's say, not something major. I think that tomorrow, let's have a look at what's happening with Japan. Okay, the PPIs are coming out from Japan tomorrow, so that's something to keep an eye on if you're trading Nikkei. But yeah, like in general, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a quiet one for Japan. I think it's going to be more reflective of what's going to be happening with the US in general, because as my title states there, one day before the US CPI. So I think that everybody's kind of watching. We're going to be watching that one, but I'll get to that in a bit. China 50 index. So this one's a little bit of a mess, I would say, because last week I talked about this and I said to you that, look, if we do drop below that 50-day EMA, I'll aim lower. I'll aim for that 12,556 territory, which we managed to reach perfectly. That's fine. Okay, that's great. What's next? Well, then we kind of bounced around here a little bit, and then we pushed back up. So in general, I would say I need to relook at this again, and I think that, you know what, I'll bring some of these levels back again, but actually, you know what? No, I'm not gonna remove anything here. I'm gonna remove some things, but I'm just gonna adjust a few things. So, in terms of the upside, look, for me right now at this point, maybe a push somewhere back above this 12,727 territory would be required. So basically, I'll grab this highlighted zone. So yeah, there we go. So maybe above this territory could be nice. Then we could target the 100-day EMA. Then we maybe the 200-day EMA, and so on and so on. But at this point, look, I'm just observing the price action. In terms of lower levels, look, the problem here with lower levels is that I'm aiming only for this upside line drawn from the low of the 1st of June. So in order for me to, let's say, consider the downside, maybe a drop somewhere below this territory, below that 12,500 territory would be ideal. And then we could consider a move towards that this upside support line, which, look, some of you might say, hey, maybe this is like a neckline or something like that of a possible head and shoulders pattern. But to be honest, this is not a very attractive head and shoulders pattern. So just, you know what, just stick to this upside line as it is, and yes, and then we'll get more excited with the downside, especially if we also fall somewhere below this territory right there, below this 12,200 zone, and then we'll take it from there. ASX 200. So yes, looking at the picture here, beautiful push to the upside, beautiful move above the remaining EMAs. However, it's not finished yet, because these are the futures that I'm talking about here. So it might stay, look, it might stay here, it might not. So we still have like the full day to go through. So at the moment, I would say just keep an eye on these EMAs. If we continue to trade above them, then yes, my next target is the 7,227 territory right here. And if that gets cleared, I'm aiming for this downside line. And I'm only aiming for that one because, again, let's not forget that this move higher could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. So basically something like this could still be possible, right? But let's keep it short and simple. For now, let's just aim for that one. If we continue to trade above all of the EMAs. In terms of the downside, look, there's a bunch of upside lines which we can keep an eye on, but the problem with them is that they are kind of a little bit on the tentative side. So we only have like around 2 touches and that's it. So what we can do here, we can approach this from the short-term perspective. So if we do break the upside line, then yes, we'll consider a bit of a move lower here towards this other upside line as well, which is also a tentative one. So if we break the upside line, which is drawn from the low of the 25th of August, then yes, I will consider a move further south towards the other upside support line drawn from the low of the 10th of July, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. We'll see if we can get a nice clear move there. If we can, great. More downside could come. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So, long story short, for now, the question for me is, can we go a little bit higher? If we can, that's great. Wonderful. I'll aim for this downside line, and then I'll just kind of take it from there. So jumping into the US indices, guys. So yesterday we saw the indices kind of all of them actually closing in positive territory. The Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P. NASDAQ was the biggest gainer, followed by the S&P, and then yes, the Dow was kind of the biggest loser. So let's start off with the biggest loser from yesterday, Dow. And look, so far this is okay, because previously I talked about this potential idea of a rebound from this upside support line. Okay, that's absolutely fine. This one's drawn from the low of the 15th of March of this year. And yes, we traveled higher and we tested this downside line, which I've mentioned to you as well before, because again, so far it's kind of doing a good job providing resistance. But now the question is, can we see a break of this downside line and a push higher? Well, the moment I would say, I will aim for some higher levels, only for this other downside line. I mean, look, there's another tentative downside line drawn from the high of the 1st of August. So yes, if we do get a breakthrough this one, the steeper downside line, I'll just aim for the other one. And that's it. Honestly, for now, I'm just going to keep it short and simple, because it's very difficult to try to maybe predict something further, because we do have the US CPI is coming out on tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yes. So look, at the moment, let's quickly have a look. The forecast for the headline CPI is for a rise. Yes, so yeah, okay, so they're expecting a higher year-on-year headline CPI figure, which is yes, at the moment the previous figure is at 3.2, the forecast is at 3.6, but the core CPI, which basically, yes, excludes food and energy. So the core figures are expected to go a little bit lower. Now, this is why it's so interesting, because, and I'll get to oil in a bit as well, because I think that the estimation is that, look, in the past month, we kind of saw energy prices, especially oil price, going a little bit higher. So that's why maybe they're indicating that the headline might be a little bit on the higher side, but the core itself might be a little bit lower. So yes, that makes sense in general, but let's wait and see. Let's not try to jump ahead of the bandwagon. Let's jump on the bandwagon after the new numbers come out, and then we might benefit from that better, rather than, let's say, jumping beforehand. So you never know. It's kind of, maybe it'll be in your direction, maybe not, but that's the problem all the time, unfortunately. We always have to kind of analyze it in this way, that anything can happen. You could, for example, get the direction correctly in the first seconds. It could spike higher, but then it quickly goes against you, takes you out. Then the market settles down and then kind of starts going back into your direction. So yeah, seeing that several times. So just be a little bit more on the safe side, guys. So coming back to this, that's my game plan here with Dow. I can get rid of this arrow, no longer need it. Now I'm just watching, waiting for a breakthrough, one of these trend lines, in order to consider the next short-term directional move. The S&P 500, so yes, we're currently oscillating around the 50-day EMA. We're traveling back above the 4,478 zone. So now my question is, can we see a push? Can we see a push further north? Well, to be honest, for me, still, look, I said it before last week. I said it that my preferred scenario is from this territory, from this 4,542 zone. That gets cleared, then yes, great. More buyers could join in. Of course, I'm already starting to look at some higher levels if we do remain above the 50-day EMA, because in general, above this 50-day EMA right here, because in general, this could be seen as a bullish indication. And yes, there could be some more buyers joining in. So in a way, but just don't forget that at this point, while we're seeing this, this could still mean that we are maybe oscillating around the 50-day EMA. And what does that mean? That, you know, it's going to be like up and down here, just moving sideways, just around the this 50-day EMA, because that's what we got recently. Yes, any kind of, whenever it moves, let's say above it or below, there's always the chance that yes, it will go, you know, further away from the EMA. But of course, given that we don't know, we never know, we can just only like wait for maybe some sort of more like clarity and wait for a better indication. So that's why my better indication is from around here somewhere, from this 4,542 zone. But yes, I will slowly start aiming to the upside from this 4,478 territory, and then yes, we will take it from there. NASDAQ 100. So the beautiful picture here is that we have rebounded from the this downside line, which also got violated a few times, as you can see here. And in general, I can say that the 50-day EMA in general did a good job. So it's yes, we're pushing back up now, but I would prefer to wait for a push above the 15,610 territory right here in order to go to the upside, and then we'll just take it from there. So yeah, that's my game plan here for now. I'm watching the US CPIs tomorrow. Today might be a little bit on the calm side, on the cautious side. We do get something like, let me just double check, with OPEC monthly report. Okay, this is going to be something for oil, which I'll go into in a bit, but yeah. For now, like I said, coming back to this, I think that we might remain just somewhere trading around here. Maybe even actually on NASDAQ, we could go further north here towards this barrier, towards this 15,600 territory. And then maybe, let's say tomorrow, if everything's fine, maybe, yes, we could see a nice good pop here higher. But okay, this is just a theory, because somehow these coincidences happen. So just want to, you know, keep you in the loop, and that, you know, for example, today we could see this one pushing, you know, a little bit higher here, getting closer to this barrier. Then like, ooh, it's like a very interesting target, you know, but maybe it's already already ready to go higher, but you know, we need some sort of a trigger. But look, nothing is sure, nothing is guaranteed. So if suddenly this starts falling off the cliff and falls below the 50-day EMA, then yes, we could see maybe a bit of a move lower, especially also if we break this upside support line drawn from the low of the 18th of August. The German index, DAX. So this one's a mess. Let me just adjust this, I think. You know what? What I want to do here is I really want to remove all the drawings and start fresh. So I'll bring back some of the levels, of course. So for example, this one for sure. Let me just put this on the chart here. So this 15,511 territory, which kind of coincides nicely with the 200-day EMA. So for sure, I'm keeping a close eye on this hurdle, because if we do drop below it, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low. And then, yes, we could aim for maybe this little target right here, the low of the 24th of March of this year, near the 14,957, or maybe towards this lowest point of March, near the 14,617. But again, that's ideal scenario for the bears. Not everything happens ideally, of course, for everybody, so you know, we should examine the upside scenario as well. Now, I do like this 16,070 territory, but I think that I need to start looking at some higher levels, maybe from that 16,000 mark itself. So just, you know, to be a little bit more on the safe side, or I wouldn't say a safe side, but just more like what's the word for that? Like a symbolic number, like you know, a beautiful now round number. I think a lot of traders are also keeping an eye on it and keeping it as a barrier for the upside. And look, we have this downside line, a short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 10th of August, which kind of in a way could also coincide with this territory near that 16,000 mark. And if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly more buyers could join in, and we could aim for this zone right here, the 16,615, or maybe even above that. But who knows? Unfortunately, we don't have the crystal ball. We'll just have to wait also for the numbers, U.S. numbers to come out, the inflation numbers, and then we'll adjust accordingly. The FTSE 100, and by the way, why I'm talking about the U.S. numbers, because yes, tomorrow we could see some fluctuation here in the DAX because of, like I said, because of the reaction in the U.S. CPIs, because in a way it's going to be the U.S. indices that are going to be driving the DAX futures. But of course, let's not forget on Thursday we will get the your ECB's interest rate decision. Now that's going to be impacting the DAX a lot, I think. But again, let's wait and see. At the moment, the forecast is for a pause from like the previous number was at 4.25. Yeah, the forecast right now is sitting at the 4.25. It would be very interesting if the ECB would raise interest rates suddenly, because look, their inflation numbers have stabilized in a way, 5.3. So basically they were on a decline, but now they have stalled. So I don't know if they're gonna see this as a bit of a fear factor, you know, like as a scary moment for them, that, you know, maybe inflation will start creeping up again because of higher oil prices right now. So maybe, you know, they will just go in and say, you know what, let's go and hike our rate again by 25 basis points. And then, yes, well, this is where, you know, in order to kind of keep an eye on inflation. But I think that, no, maybe they will just keep it, try to see what's going to be with the next inflation rate, which is going to be like what, 19th, I think. Yeah, 19th of September, something like that, should be coming out. So yeah, let's see what's going to be the reaction in there from the ECB on Thursday. But again, before that, on Wednesday, we do get the US CPIs. So yeah, the FTSE 100. So from the technical perspective, beautiful push through this downside line. Okay, that's good. Look, in general, I talked about this last week, if you remember in my videos. Yes, we cleared it. I was aiming for my target here near the 7,520 zone. Fantastic tick, beautiful test. Let's see if we can go further north. Well, at the moment I'm watching these two EMAs, the 100 and the 200-day EMAs. At the moment, so far, they're kind of providing good resistance. But if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly, yes, I'll go for higher levels. The 7,611 zone was the next target. And yes, if like I said, at the moment I've got my target reached, so I do understand that there is a little bit of room here, but to be honest, I want to see how this is going to play out here, because maybe it's going to hold, maybe it's going to drift back down. Let's get rid of this arrow. Maybe it's going to drift back down. Maybe in that case, maybe it's going to form something of a not this one, but maybe it's going to form something of range. So we need to examine all the possible scenarios. So at the moment, that's why I'm keeping a close eye on this territory. And then, yes, from here I will go further north. So US dollar index, guys, US dollar index. So this one's a little bit of a mess. So we fell below the 104.61 territory. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But then we kind of started oscillating around this zone. So I think that, you know what, it's getting a little bit messy, and I think I just want to do what I want to do here is remove all the drawings and have a fresh look. So first of all, I'm bringing back the trend line, which in a way still could do the trick. Then I'm going to keep a close eye on this hurdle right here. So this 104.61. So far, we're kind of it's not, let's say, the most spectacular level to watch because we're kind of jumping around it. But I think that what's happening here is that I think this upside line might carry a little bit more significance, and it might be the one to watch together with maybe this little hurdle, this 104.25. So if we clear that one, then yes, we might also clear this upside line, and we could move towards the 50-day EMA or this 200-day EMA. For the upside, I would like to see a push above this barrier right here, this 105.12. So, so yes, if I want to consider some, let's say, higher levels, of course, yes, then certainly if we do drift a little bit lower, then we might see a rebound from this upside line, and we could, consider that as a possible indication for some more upside, that, this upside line remained intact, and then, more bulls are jumping in. But let's not rush into this. And look, let's see first how this is going to play out around here, how it's going to trade around here. If it's going to, let's say, struggle to break the upside line, okay, maybe we'll consider a rebound and a push higher. But even then, for me, I will get more excited with the upside if we do push above the 105.12 territory right here. And then, yes, more buyers could join in. For the downside, I would say a break of this upside line is required. And then we will aim for the EMAs. Now let's jump into gold. This one is getting a little bit messy, but interesting. Why? Because look, I talked about this steeper short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 1st of September. So we have drifted lower and, we drifted higher initially, tested the downside line, and then failed to kind of stay above it. Yes, we broke it, but we failed to stay above it, and then we drifted back down. We are now testing this 200-day EMA, which has been so far a very nice area of support. But as you can see here, it has been, it was broken several times. We got these like little wicks here below the 200-day EMA, but the body of the daily candle remained above that 200-day EMA. So in a way, that's kind of indicating to me that this is quite an important area to watch, an important area of support, which is approximately around that 1919 level. So if we do drop below it, then yes, my next target is the 1914. But I think I need to adjust that, to be honest. I think I need to mark this instead, this 1915. But if that gets cleared, well, yes, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low. Then my next target will be this 1904 zone, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a break of this downside line. If we do pop above the 50-day EMA, then yes, more buyers could join in. That's my, like I said, that's my simplistic approach on gold. And yes, I'm going to just keep an eye on that for now. But I'm leaning towards the downside more because, again, we had a beautiful rejection from this downside line. But now I need that drop below the 200-day EMA, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Silver. Silver is looking quite bearish still. Look, I mean, last week I talked a lot about silver, about this commodity, about this precious metal. I said to you that, look, even if we do retrace back up, I mean, as long as we remain somewhere below this 200-day EMA, or let's say at least below the 50 and the 100-day EMA, then there's still a good chance for this one to drift lower. So at the moment seems to be the case. But I think that to be a little bit more on the safe side, maybe you could keep an eye on this 22.83 zone in order to get more comfortable with the downside, because a nice good break below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low. For the upside, I need to see a push above all of the EMAs, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. Platinum. So this is something that I'm also keeping a close eye on. You probably don't look at it very often, but look, last week I talked about this, and I said to you that I'm aiming for this territory right here, because look, maybe this is a range, or maybe this is a falling channel, because we have the highlighted areas here. You can see that's marking the range kind of roughly, or maybe this is actually a falling channel, which also makes sense. So, but so far you can see that the lower side of the potential range here did a good job. It provided some support, but if that gets cleared, yes, I'm going to aim lower, but let me get rid of this downside line. I'm going to aim lower, but only up until this lower side of the falling channel. And then maybe we'll get ourselves a nice rebound. So basically, this arrow has to be something like this. Let me just put this on the chart. So yeah, something like this could be possible, guys. But for now, let's wait and see. For now, it's yes, like I said, it's a moment where we really don't know. I mean, yes, we're leaning towards the downside a little bit, but we do have the lower side of this range. And again, we're also keeping an eye on the US dollar, what's going to happen here, because yes, we're going to have a look at this. And yes, if we do see a popping, US dollar, then great. We could see, further decline here in platinum, and that would be wonderful. Ray Renatas, labas rytas. Yes, labas rytas to you too. Yes, labas rytas. Okay, so now then, jumping into oil very quickly, guys. So looking at the picture here, I can see that so far, this 88 territory, I talked about this one last week, and so far this is providing fantastic resistance. And if we want to go higher, okay, we need the clearance of that territory. But at the moment, we're just getting like a tease here and struggling. But in general, I said it before, I'm aiming for that psychological $90 mark initially, and then I'll take it from there. But in order for me to aim for that $90 mark, I need that clearance of this 88 zone. And look, for now, we're seeing that we're struggling with that. So when I'm gonna get that, then I'm gonna be more happy with. I'm going to be more happy with the upside, but at the moment, I'm just, observing the price action. In general, we had already, in the short period of time, quite a decent up move. So maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. However, I will prefer to see a move lower if we do drop below this territory, below this 84.90. I get it. We're missing on a lot of area right here. Totally understand that, but to be honest, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Then I'll aim for this upside line. I'll go for a larger correction to the downside, and then we'll take it from there. Natural gas. Natural gas. Looking at the interesting scenario here. Look, I talked about this last week, so I'm not going to spend too much time. For me, for the upside, I need to see a push back above these EMAs, which so far are providing good resistance, back above the 50 and the 100, in order for me to aim for the 200-day EMA, which coincides nicely with my upper side of the range here. For the downside, a drop below the 2.45 area, somewhere around here, would be required for me in order to consider a move lower. Bitcoin. So this one is a mess. Just bear with me one moment. So this one is a mess. Why? Because initially I was kind of aiming lower, because I said to you before that if we do drop below that 25,288 zone, I'll lean towards this 24,800 zone initially, which we came very close to that, but then we failed to kind of just hit it exactly and reverse back up. Okay, things like that happen. That's why we have our stop losses in place, and that's why we always risk only what we can afford to lose. So, okay, not an ideal scenario for sure. Honestly, sometimes it's working, sometimes it doesn't. So at this point, I think it's not working very well as I would like it to work. But hey, nothing is perfect, unfortunately. So for now, look, what I'm going to do here, again, I'm going to adjust my scenarios here, and even in order for me to go higher, I would like to see at least a push above this downside line, this steep one, this short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 29th of August. I get it. It's a little bit on the tentative side. Don't get me wrong, but it's not really something that, guaranteed or for sure. No, nothing in the market is there. But at least maybe this way we could gauge, the scenario that we could, aim for the 200-day EMA somewhere for this 27,000 mark or something like that. And then we're trying to simplify our life. We're trying to find some sort of logic somewhere. But hey, don't get me wrong. The market's not always logical. So unfortunately, we have to adjust to that. Now, in terms of the downside, as I said, Now I'm gonna look at the 24,800. I'm gonna go lower because look, we did violate this 25,288 zone. So yeah, we need to kind of relook at this. So that's why this can go, no longer needed. And I think now it's a little bit more logical to stick to this, because if that gets cleared, look at this. I mean, this has been quite an important area of support. Let me just grab this highlighted territory. I will reuse it right here. There we go. So yeah, this is a nice area of support. If that gets cleared, then yes, more sellers could join in. Litecoin, one of my favorite ones. Okay, fantastic. Finally, honestly, finally. I've previously talked about this and I said to you, look, if we continue to trade above this upside line drawn from the low of the 14th of June, then yes, there is a chance for a rebound here, a push higher towards this downside line. Now, we did initially get that little rebound. We were holding on, but I said to you that, look, if we start breaking this upside line, and we also fall below the $60 mark, then, well, guess what? Lower levels could be met. A forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. This is exactly what happened. And then my next target, well, this is where I am ideally, I'm aiming for this 47.50 zone. But I get it. Maybe we're not going to go all the way there. So maybe we could just start off from with aiming for the 53.40 zone first. That's the low of the 14th of November, and then of last year, of course, and then we'll take it from there. So guys, now let's jump into a few pairs. AUDUSD, I really want to jump into that one because I talked about this and I said to you last week that, look, keep your eyes on this upside line, which we violated, yes, but given that we're in a range, and so far this is kind of proving to be something like that, then there is a good chance, yes, we could go higher if we do push back above this upside line. And look at this beautiful move higher. The only problem right now is this little obstacle right here, this 0.6438. But if we clear that one, guess what? We could go for the upper side of this potential range idea. In order to go lower, guys, well, I would prefer to wait for a drop somewhere below the 0.6365 territory in order, yes, to go lower. For now, just like I said, I'm just observing the price action. And if we do, like I said, if we do fall back below this upside line, yes, again, the downside scenario is opening up. But so far, I'm leaning towards the upside within the range, because in general, let's not forget that we're also below this downside line. So, you know, it's a little bit of a mess here and there, but this is where I'm trying to kind of, maybe I'm wrong, don't get me wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to at least find some sort of logic, some sort of reasoning in order to kind of have a normal approach to this. But so, like I said, for now, I am cautiously bullish in the short run, but I'm aiming only for the upper side of this potential range. AUDJPY. So, okay, look at this. I talked a lot about this last week. I told you to keep an eye on the crossroads between these two trend lines. And look at this. Look at this tease. Honestly, this candle drifted lower, took out a lot of people, and then drifted back up. And also, we created a good area of support somewhere around here, this 93.59 level. So, okay, that's going to be quite an important one to watch. Look, in terms of these trend lines, the downside one and the upside one, although we kind of already violated them, but you know what? For now, I will keep them on the chart just to see how we're going to play around. For the downside, if we're going to start moving lower, I'm going to focus mainly on the 93.59. So basically, I will stop ignoring. I will ignore, not stop ignoring, but on the contrary, ignore the trend lines, and I'll keep an eye on this 93.59 zone, because somehow I see it as a much better area of support. So let me just put this actually on the chart right here. Let me just, grab it. There we go. There we go. So this is going to be my downside scenario from this territory right here. And then I'll aim for the 200-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, well, I'm going to go further south. For the upside, so far, so good. Everything is according to the plan. I'm aiming higher towards that 94.90 zone, and then, yes, we'll kind of take it from there. If we do push through this barrier, then yes, great. Potentially more, even more buyers could join in. But at this point, I'm just aiming for that 94.90 level. New Zealand dollar against the Japanese yen. Okay, we're look, if you remember last week I talked about this and I said to you I'm keeping a close eye on this coiling up moment because the pair is coiling up. We're getting into a squeeze. We did exit the we exit the triangle or the squeeze here, but it was kind of a gap, so it's kind of counts and kind of not. But still, look, I talked about this hurdle here, this 86.33 territory. I spoke about this level last week, so I said to you that if that gets cleared, then yes, I'll go lower. Look how well it came close to it. It came close to it, reversed back up, and now it's back into this squeeze moment. So in a way, it's like a gap never happened. So it's just, you know, so that's why for the downside for me, still the same obstacle is valid, this 86.33. If that gets cleared, then yes, my next target is the 85.79. I'll aim for the 200-day EMA here. Look, ideally I have this arrow here all the way towards this 84.94, but you know what? Let's keep it short and simple. I think that let's just mark it up to this 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push not only above this downside line, but also above this 87.14 level. USDJPY, so just a quick update on that one. So far, so good. This holding nicely, the 146.56. I talked about this last week, and there we go. We're still getting a nice hold up there. If we continue to trade above that, then yes, I'll go to the upside. If we fall and stay, because again, yesterday we fell, but we didn't stay below it. If we fall and stay below this, then yes, I'll consider a move lower towards that 145 level. Then yes, maybe this 50-day EMA as well. But look, one thing that I keep on saying, that keep your eyes on the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, because look, it will intervene at some point, but I think they're just allowing the yen to go freely. But once they intervene, they will decide to strengthen it, and then yes, we could see a nice, beautiful decline here. So just keep that in mind. So just kind of, if you're trading this, then follow those news. USDCAD. Okay, so a bit of an adjustment is needed from last week. So in just a quick recap, that last week I was kind of targeting this downside line, but we came very close to it. You know what? Okay, this was not an ideal test, but so far it came very close. So what I want to do here, I think that also something that I said last week, that if we do fall back below this territory, below this 1.3640, my next target is the 1.3575. Boom. Tick, tick. Fantastic. Great. What's next? I really, really want to get rid of all these lines here. I think I'm going to start just clearing up, but some of the lines are really good still, and you can see yourselves. So, for example, if you want to go further south, a drop below this 1.3575 territory is required, and then we could aim for that 1.35 zone and this 50-day EMA. So this is quite an important area of support right here, which I'm still keeping a close eye on. And yes, if we do drop below the 1.3575, I'll go for the 1.35 zone. That's it. For the upside, that's the tricky bit. So for the upside, I need to clear up here because it's a little bit messy on the upside. So okay, 1.3695 is something maybe to keep an eye on. But you know what? Ideally, I know that there's a lot of territory right here, but you know what? Ideally, that's my game plan for the upside. I need to see a break of this downside line. Maybe, depending on how this is going to trade, maybe this 1.3695 territory will coincide nicely with the downside line. Maybe. Let's see. If that's the case, then it could be a perfect breakout territory. But again, let's for now, let's just keep an eye on that one. Let me just double check. I have like some sort of a flare. Yeah. Well, okay, what can I do? That's the these are the benefits of the bald head, because I have like a little flare here. It's fine. Okay, I'll have to adjust the lights at a later stage, I think. Maybe something like this a little bit. Okay. Maybe it helps a little bit more. Actually, no, you know what? It doesn't help. So let me just adjust the light. Anyway, I hope you're not getting blinded by my bald head. USDCHF, USDCHF. So beautiful trading here so far. With this one, I have my personal kind of love relationship, right? I mean, I like this pair. And I talked a lot about this when I said to you last month, if you remember, I said that if we continue to trade above this highlighted zone right here, which is the lowest point of 2021, because we violated it, and I said if we do climb back above it and stay above it, then there's a chance for this one to move higher. And look what's happening. We're moving higher. So far, we're getting a hold up above this 0.89 territory, somewhere around here. So that's okay. That's good. A good sign. And if we are looking for some higher levels, then I would say the 0.89 territory is something that I'm keeping an eye on. My next target is the 200-day EMA. That's what I'm going to be looking at. And yes, if we do fall below the 0.89 zone, then my next target is the 100-day EMA or this 50-day EMA. That's the short-term picture. Of course, then yes, we have this upside line, which if it gets broken, then yes, we'd open the door to its lower levels and blah blah blah. But that's okay. That's for later. For now, let's just keep an eye on, continue monitoring that 0.89 territory. If we continue to trade above it, my next target is the 200-day EMA. GBPUSD. So far, so I want to say good, but not really, not the most exciting. So for now, it's looking we're just keeping an eye on the 200-day EMA. So far, it's providing good resistance. And yes, if we do climb back above it, I'll consider a move towards this downside line drawn from the high of the 14th of July. In terms of the downside, a drop below the 1.2445 territory for me would be required in order to go lower, because a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed then, and then I'll aim for the 1.2368 or the 1.23 level itself. GBPNZD, something interesting here. So because okay, we violated this upside line, but my problem right now is the 50-day EMA. So far, it's kind of doing a good job. So I think that a readjustment is required here. Let me remove all the drawings because look, this upside line stopped working. Maybe we should look at something a little bit from the bigger picture. So this spike here, okay, maybe maybe later on in the future. For now, maybe this could be nice. So basically, if we are seeing a larger correction to the downside, then maybe this upside line could work out nicely. So look, I think that for me to consider the larger correction to the downside, I drop below this 2.11 territory is needed, because so far it's providing good resistance, support, and together with the 50-day EMA. So if we do get a nice drop below this, then yes, this may open the door towards some lower levels, towards the 100-day EMA and this upside line as well. EURNZD, in terms of, GBPNZD, in terms of the upside, I think that maybe a push above the downside line here could do the trick. Because again, I really don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe this is going to be a descending triangle, or maybe, I don't know, maybe this is actually a falling channel here. So let's put it this way. If we do fall below the 2.11 zone, aim lower, but initially aim for the lower side of this potential idea of a falling channel. Maybe if it gets cleared, yes, we'll go further south and aim for the 100-day EMA. But if somehow magically it provides good support, maybe we could see a rebound and a push higher. So just keep that in mind. EURNZD. So this one's also interesting, and also maybe look, I do have a bunch of lines here. The same similar story, kind of like with GBPNZD. I need to see a drop below this upside line, below the 50-day EMA, then and below this 1.8085 territory. If I get that, then yes, great. More sellers could join in. For the upside, I need to see a break of this downside line, and then yes, some more potentially buyers could join in. So maybe we're also having a nice falling channel pattern again, maybe. But at this point, I'm trying not to overcomplicate my life here with this one, so I'm just approaching it from this, from the simple way, and I think that that's the best way to go. Euro CHF, just a quick update on this one. So far, we're in the range, so that's fine. We're in the smaller range within the within the bigger range. So, yeah, unfortunately, if you don't like ranges, then yeah, that's this one is not for you right now. So this upside line can go, no longer needed. If you want to go look at higher levels, I think the push above the 50-day EMA and the 0.96 territory would be required. That's my easy way of looking at some slightly higher levels. And then I'll aim for the upper side of the bigger range here. But then, of course, don't get me wrong. I mean, higher levels, of course, could be met. We could go further north. But the thing is that here we also have the 50-day, the 100-day EMA coinciding nicely with the upper side of the bigger range, like the 50-day EMA with the upper side of the lower, smaller range. And yes, that could be my next target, the 0.9650 territory around here. And if that gets cleared, yes, I'll go a little bit higher. But I'm going to only aim for here, for this downside line, because we are, don't forget, in general, overall, we are on a decline. We are below some of these downside lines. So at the moment, any move, any pullback here could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. If we're looking at some downside, then yes, a drop below this 0.9525 territory is required, and then we could take it from there. EURJPY, just a quick one. So yes, so far this hurdle, this 156.87 territory is providing good support. If that gets cleared, then yes, more sellers could join in. We could aim for that 100-day EMA. For the upside, I need to see at least a push above this downside line drawn from the high of the 31st of August, and then yes, we could take it from there. We could then go for a little bit for slightly higher levels. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So this one is a bit of a mess. However, I get it. I mean, there's a lot of lines here on my chart, but actually, some of them are working out nicely. And look, I talked about this idea. I kept this 1.0766 territory right here, the highlighted one. I said to you that for me to consider slightly higher levels in the short run, I need to see a push above that barrier. And then I'll aim for the 200-day EMA only. Because let's not forget that we could still be on a decline here. And let me draw another downside line. I had a different one previously. That one had to go. I think now it's better to draw something like this. So as you can see, it also coincides kind of, or let's say could coincide nicely with the 200-day EMA, or the 200-day EMA actually could coincide nicely. Let's say by the time this could travel higher. But I'll get to the same point, the first point again. If I want to go a little bit to the upside here, I need to see a push over the 1.0766 territory, somewhere around here, because that proved to be quite a good area of support previously. Now resistance, as we can see. So I need a clearance of that one. For the downside, okay, this I need to get rid of. This is, what the hell is this? This is the line. Okay, yeah. So for the downside, look, ideally, my downside scenario is from around here, from around this 1.0686. But I get it. It's very cramped right now here. It's very close. Everything's very close. But I don't want to rush into anything, and I'm just going to aim for the 1.0667, 62, and the 1.0635. That's my kind of the ideal target right now, the lowest point of May of this year. If that gets cleared, well, guess what? We could start aiming for the lowest point of this year, which is around here, near the 1.0483 territory. Initially, of course, we'll aim for the lowest point of March, near the 1.0516, but then maybe we could aim for the current lowest point of this year. But again, for this, I need to see at least a drop back below the not back, but below the 1.0686 territory right there. And then we'll take it from there. So guys, that's it. That's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and I really want to thank you a lot for participating. I really appreciate your time, guys. Your views, your rocket ships in there. I really thank you for that a lot. Honestly, it really helps me a lot. But look, if you found this useful, great. I would really like you to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at 6 o'clock GMT time. Yeah, guys, look, today, as relatively quiet day. I mean, if you're trading oil, maybe there, you can keep an eye on the OPEC report. But the most important thing, promise me that you will have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and yes, and you'll remain happy, So yes, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.